Cool. So what we'll do, I think Leslie was going to join today as well. We'll see if she is able to make it.
Mm.
If either of you here right now have any questions, whoever kind of throws those up first can ask. We can have a chat, or you can pop them in the chat box as well, whatever you feel more comfortable with.
Yeah.
How's your
I just
last
wanted
couple of weeks been since we talked last week?
yeah, we had to talk like I think it's next week. No, and then yeah, it was week 8.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like
It was
10
on
days
a
ago, maybe.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Mm.
So how's it been
It
going?
worked. It worked.
Your retention?
I Yeah, my retention's much better.
I told you.
I got a client that came in to me today, and she has very little lashes, so she comes to me like 2.5 weeks
Mhm.
at that mark, and then it's still so good. It still looks very full.
Good. Yay.
So I've been studying a lot about
Good, I'm
I
glad.
watched the whole retention section of the website. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I feel like yeah, it makes sense now.
Cool. Yeah,
So,
I think people overcomplicate it a lot. And it's really not
yeah.
that complicated. And I know what you were saying about like using a bit more glue causes more stickies, but you just have to keep
Mm,
it isolated for a little longer. What I'll do is I'll like
yeah.
because I'm using more glue, so I'll do like the left outside eye, and then I'll switch. I'll go like right outside eye, and then I'll go left inside, right inside,
Mm,
left outside. So I'm staying like as far as possible away from the
mm,
previous lash that I put on. And I find like that helps you get a little bit less stickies. But personally, I would rather go through at the end of my set and separate a bunch of stickies than have my clients text me in 3 days and be like, hey, my lashes aren't staying. So it's kind of like
yeah.
it's the substitution, I guess, that we have to make.
Yeah. But I feel like I still struggle with the sticky part,
Mm,
especially I have clients that have like a bunch of lashes, like 4 layers, very close to each
yeah.
other. And then I struggle mostly making like a volume set because it's like wider, right? So
Mm,
I I had another client that came in to me the other day for a fill. Uh, I always try to check in like stickies by the end of the session, but since her lashes are like already very close together, it's so hard to like find. So I've like when she came back to me, I've noticed like I got some stickies that I haven't been able to remove like
mm.
by the end of her appointment the first time. So I don't know how am I supposed to get it better since her lashes are very like a lot. It was a lot, like 4 layers of lashes, very tight together. So when I start making like I was using pre-mates on her because it takes me forever to get through her lashes.
Yeah.
The first time I did her lashes was like 3.5 hours and I was already like crying because it just won't end. It just won't end. So I don't
Have
know
you
how I'm
tried
supposed to do
using
better next time.
any like taping techniques on her?
Yeah, I try like uh I try doing like the what do you call it, the tape back,
Hmm.
like after I go through like a layer, but there's just so many layers that it's so hard to like keep up. And it's very and her lashes natural lashes literally almost have no gaps. Like it's very tight together. So even though I try to like hold it in for a bit, it's somehow just sticks
Yeah.
to the next lash.
I would keep doing tape backs, like even just trying to take out like a few at a time. Like if you like were to tape back all of the lashes or something and just like pick out like 10 or something like that, and then once you lash 10, pull out some in between, and try it that way, just like slowly doing it. I think like with like putting glue on hair, there's always going to be stickies, right? Like it's almost impossible
Mm,
to avoid them. But especially on a client like that, if you can even add in maybe an extra check at the end. Like what I'll do is like I'll check them for stickies, I'll dry them, I'll brush them, and then I'll check them for stickies again. Because sometimes that, like, even though you've dried them and you've dried them, when you go and brush them, sometimes they stick a little bit again, especially on someone that has a lot of lashes. So for her case, I would suggest maybe like, like checking for stickies, drying with your fan, brushing, and then checking for stickies again. That way you're pretty sure, like, there's like, you might get one or two that kind of stick when she goes home or something like that, but I'd say like 99% of them at that point are going to be dry enough for you to move forward.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I was more careful this time though, since I saw like there was a lot, and it's especially because I feel like when I use pre-mades, it just takes so like forever to dry. Like I use more glue now, but it takes forever. Like it's not like when you I started hand making my fans again because my arm got better, so it was much better. So it dries so quick. Like I've been following the retention like the video that I have my room temperature at like 22.5 and above all the time. If needed be, I would put on my heater because it's still summer here, but it's very up and down. I try to have my humidity like on point, and when I hand make fans, as long as I stick it on, it's already dry because I was like doing that step.
I know.
Checking
I feel like
always the temperature.
Sometimes with pre-made fans, I feel like I could leave that, like I feel like I could leave it isolated and hold it there for like 20 seconds sometimes before it's actually fully dry. So because you just use way more glue, right? It's not going to dry in that actual suggested time. So we just have to be a little bit more mindful. So I think you're doing all the right things. It's just probably going to be a matter of like doing an extra check, something like that.
Yeah, it's like almost I feel like I should just start hand making with her. I keep making an excuse like, oh, she has so many lashes, and then
I know.
Sometimes it's easier to do it. Yeah, it's easier to. I keep thinking that it's easier to use pre-made fans on her, but then her lashes are very like close to each other that the pre-made fans take forever to dry. It would have taken me as much time, like the same amount of time hand making it than using pre-made and then just holding it there, because the handmade ones dry pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
why don't you try that next time? Try that next time and see how it goes. Alenza, by the way, you're welcome to like pop in with a question whenever you want as well.
Yeah. I don't know if is she coming?
I would see her here. Markia just left, but I don't see Leslie here. So Alenza's pretty new as well, so you guys might have a few questions. But if not, you're welcome to just hang out and listen. What else?
I also did the like after the session I would tell the customer to like, yeah, it would be nice if you would leave a review, blah blah blah. I got 7 new reviews, and those customers are like better at updating me like how it looks.
Yeah.
Because I remind them. Not everyone though, but like I told you, Norwegians are weird. They just don't like,
that's fair.
Posting and but at least I got some, so that's an improvement.
That's really
and
good.
It looks much better on the booking site. Having more reviews.
It makes a big difference. You don't realize like how many people look for those kinds of things because they're not actively telling you it. So yeah, I think like people just like, I don't know about you, but that's part of like, I don't know if you've gone through the customer journey part of the course. But I know that's a big part of my customer journey is like, at least that's what I do when I like think about applying, like getting enrolling in a course or like finding someone to do something. I will like hunt them down on the internet.
Yeah, right.
And I will go and try and find like every possible testimonial review. Like I've even like reached out to other people that are on their testimonial list before and be like, hey, because sometimes people just like, I feel like sometimes almost people like pay to like write to get people to write good reviews for them and they're not even real. So if I'm like for instance, I think like I just posted it in the course in the Facebook group, that I spent a significant amount of money the other day on business coaching for the year.
Yeah.
And that was not like me just being like, here, take my credit card. I like Googled this. I like reached out to 5 different people that had written testimonials just to make sure that they weren't like writing it for the sake of like maybe getting a discount on the service or something like that. I was like this is private right now. Tell me like what's actually really going on here. Is it actually good? Is it worth this money, or is it a scam that someone just was like, hey, write me a review and I'll give you, you know, $3,000 off of your next thing or whatever. So anyways, I digress. But that's like it's important, right? Because people do different things in order to validate whether or not they want to go see you, whether that's just like looking at your photos or actually looking at your testimonials. And the more that people can see consistently over and over again that it's like, okay, she's got, you know, 10 people saying, yeah, she's a great artist, highly recommend, whatever, then that's going to make you stand out compared to one person who has like no reviews or has 1 review, that kind of thing.
Yeah. It kind of looks sketchy when no one has reviews. So I
Yeah.
really don't, personally, I don't go to an artist that has no reviews.
Yeah, same. Even if their photos are good, right? They could be stealing photos from someone else. They could be doing whatever. So reviews are important.
Yeah. So it's been working out real well.
Good. I'm glad.
Done my assignments. Working
Awesome.
still working retention.
Yeah. And
but it's getting better.
You're welcome to like, again, post any of your assignments, or if there's anything in between the time that we see each other, like on, you know, every other Friday. And this goes for you, Alanza, as well, and anyone who's watching this, I guess, in the future, because it'll be recorded. Like if there's anything, you know, you can post it in the Facebook group. You know, you tag me in it, make sure that I look through it for you if you have any questions about it. And to be honest, I like it when you guys post your questions in the Facebook group, because I think it makes other people feel more comfortable doing the same thing, right? Otherwise, if people don't post anything, then they're like, oh, I don't know if I should do this. This feels awkward. So I know that you both are really good, and you'll ask questions or answer things or whatever you need to do in the Facebook group. So don't be shy. Don't feel like you need to wait 2 weeks to talk to me.
Okay, I'll try to be better at it. It just feels weird to post.
No, I know, but the more that people do it, right, then it'll feel less weird. Like if you do it, then someone else is going to be like, oh, okay, well, she did it, so that means I can do it. And then it'll just be like, oh, everyone's doing it, so it's fine. Sometimes it just takes one person. And I feel like what you and I have been working on a lot specifically is, I feel like a lot of it is challenging yourself, right? And we're kind of like pushing you out of your comfort zone in terms of like setting boundaries with your clients and, you know, telling people like, hey, write me a review, even though you're like, Norwegians don't write reviews. Weird. But you're doing it, right? Weird. So this is also, it's not just like a Lash thing. It's like a mindset thing and becoming like a better you inside and outside of your business as well too. So
yeah. It's pushing me to become more social. It's kind of weird, but like, yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a good kind of weird.
Well, I'm glad. Alanza, do you have anything? I know you're kind of hanging there, but I want to make sure if you have anything. Nope. Silence is a good thing, I guess. I know you were in the chat there, but you might just be kind of listening in as well. Yeah, what else? Do you think that there's anything that you'd like to see like more of inside the course? I wanted to add like a little mindset sort of piece to it as well. So I don't know if either of you feel like you would benefit from something like that. That's what I've been working on a lot, because I don't realize like how much I doubt myself, and I think how much that portrays into the way that I present myself. So I was thinking something like that. I'm always open to feedback, like I said. So if there's anything, then I'm happy to make sure that I'm giving you guys everything that you want.
Looking through.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm still at the Lash Foundation. I just do it whenever I have time. I'm starting school.
That's the point, right? Like I don't want you to zoom through it. Like I know for a little while, like I had one girl who finished it in on a weekend. And I was like, that's not like,
No, it's hard.
yeah, as good as that is, like it's
Mm.
good for you, like you completed it really fast, but it's also not the point. Like I want, to sit with the information and kind of marinate with it and then apply it and then move on to the next thing. So there's no point in
Yeah,
rushing.
yeah, yeah. It's working so far. Like
Good.
I'm working so good with the glue. I'm more confident,
I'm so
and I
glad.
feel like I know more. And I don't want to buy any primer bonder anymore.
Good.
It all makes sense.
You don't need it, right? And it's not like, I
No.
don't say those things to like bash what anyone else is doing. I'm sure that some people have really good success with it and that's fine, but I'm more about the sense of like, what if you don't need it, then why should you be spending money on something that you don't actually need to
Yeah.
provide a better service?
Yeah, I feel like it's just extra cost for literally no reason. And the goal is to make money, so
Yeah.
I don't see the point of it. And like now whenever I see Instagram posts, they're like, yeah, your lashes are falling off because you don't wash it. So it's like it's okay.
It's just a matter of brushing your teeth, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
washing your eyelashes has the same purpose as brushing your teeth, right? That's it. It's for hygienic reasons.
Yeah,
That's
but
it.
like people, yeah, I keep seeing people say that since you have dirty lashes, it falls off basically, or like since
I
you
know.
uh went to the beach, it falls off because
And it shouldn't like
yeah, all over. Yeah.
having lashes shouldn't be hard. The point of having lashes is to make your life easier. Right, so like
Yeah.
going around and being like, oh you went in the pool so your lashes fell off, or like you slept funny so your lashes fell off, or whatever. It's like, again, the purpose of them is to make my life easier, so why can't I do all the things that make me happy and make my life easier, like going to the beach and sleeping?
Yeah,
It doesn't make sense.
it's so much restriction, which is
Yeah.
very contraindicatory for what it's meant for,
Mhm.
basically.
Yeah.
So I feel
Yeah,
like, yeah,
it's just a
I
matter of
have more.
accountability.
It feels hard to admit to a client though. I keep telling them I'm working on it. I'm working
Yeah,
on it. Don't worry.
and most people appreciate that, right? Like my least favorite thing is when I go to someone and I'm like, oh hey, like whatever, this thing broke, and they're like, oh well, what did you do? All of a sudden
Yeah,
you
it's
get
like
defensive, right? Yeah, you're
you.
like, whoa, like I didn't, and then you're like, I don't want to go back to this person, when you can honestly look at it and say like, okay, how can I improve my skill to do that? A lot of people will appreciate, rather than being like, oh well, she's not blaming me and she wants to actually work with me to fix this thing. Like that says a lot more about you and your business, than you just turning around and being like, well, you must have sat outside in the sun and sweat for too long today.
Yeah, but what about like I had two clients that come in who they lose lashes more than the other, which is like very significant.
Like
I
one eye.
keep trying. Yeah, not like bald, but like they significantly lose more than the other. I
Mm-hmm.
think I have three clients that come in that are like, and it's inconsistent. One is on like there's two that are on the lost more on the right, and then there's one that lost more on the left. And they keep, I don't know, I don't really remember, but like I think yeah, I've done their lashes. It was in July. I haven't gone through the retention part yet, so maybe it's me, maybe it's the temperature, I don't know. What there's
Yeah.
always like inconsistency of losing
Yeah, and I mean,
more
there's
than the
always going
other.
to be a little bit, right? Like sometimes someone just has more shedding on one side than the other side. Like that's not something that we control. But I would say like now, like have you seen them since you've kind of gone through this retention piece?
Uh, it was before I went
Okay.
through the retention piece because I started the retention piece at start of August and then I had them like end of July.
Yeah, okay.
But they lose more in the middle, which is weird because people usually lose more on the side.
On the sides. Yeah. I have one client
Yeah.
who like has this one spot where she seems to lose a lot of, and it could be like maybe someone could be picking, right?
Yeah.
But I find in that spot specifically, she has like a cluster of a lot of lashes, kind of like what it sounds like
Hmm.
you have. Um, and maybe they end up kind of sticking together or something. I'm not sure, but I would say like first thing, like try not to do too many things at once. So with those people, like when you see them again, try and use all the, you know, the new things that you've learned through the retention section of this course, and just be like overly mindful while you're doing their lashes. You know how sometimes it's easy to get like zoned out and you're just like your head's floating and then you're just like dipping and placing and dipping and placing and you're like and then you're like, wait, where did the last 45
after
minutes
the 1
go?
hour mark.
Yeah, so maybe just try and be like really mindful during those 2 appointments, and then like when you see them next, and then when they come back, just see what that looks like, if it's different, if it's improved, and then it would be easier to go from there.
Yeah, because it's kind of weird, but it's not like I use a glue ring, so it has nothing to do with like, oh, you dip too early and set it to,
Right.
because I use a glue ring and I'm getting pretty good at not dipping before I completely isolate, because that was like one mistake I've done from before, like dipping already and then
Yeah.
you know, oh, I lost the lash, and then try to find
you're like
it
looking around for it. Yeah, for
and
sure.
then it's already dry.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah, I'll try to see how it goes. I tried applying all the things that I've learned on her, that client with a lot of lashes. She lost so much in the middle though, so I'll try to check on that after 3 weeks. Yeah, she
when she
in
comes
for
back.
the next film.
Yeah. And if she does come back with a lot missed when you do her next fill, feel free to like record some of it, like if you can get kind of a close-up video. I don't know if you have like a gooseneck or something like that. Do you know what that is? Like a gooseneck phone holder?
No. Oh, like I think yeah, I have, but it's not that good.
Yeah,
I
like one of
keep
these?
searching for the angles. Yeah, not one of those, but like I think I bought this like cheap from like a website or something. I have one of these.
Oh yeah, okay.
I don't know, it's probably gonna work.
Yeah, I mean it
I
might
try,
work.
but it's a bit unstable, so
Yeah,
probably
you might
find
need
a
like
way
this one
how
is
to
like very
stabilize
like
it.
I can't move it. It's like so strong.
Yeah, right.
But it'd be a good tool that if you are having struggles, it you know, it'll hold your phone up for you and you can do like a really close-up video, and you might be able to you can send that in the group and get feedback on it and see how we can help you if she comes back when she's lost a lot again.
I hope she's not gonna lose a lot. I was trying to like keep the temperature humidity low.
Yeah, that's okay.
So
That's okay.
hopefully it gets better.
Yeah, I mean, and it's always a process, right? Like you're not going to be perfect at it right out the gate. It's just like improving, which is what matters.
Yeah, I try to tell my clients that, because I don't want very, you know, like they have very high expectations. It's kind of like getting me the anxiety. I want to be good, but at the same time, not like, you know, still have room for mistakes. But so far, it's going good.
Yeah, it seems like it's improving, and keep setting boundaries with people. I think what you're doing is making steps in the right direction, and you're still so new in the lash industry, right?
Yeah,
like
very.
you give yourself grace. I know you like want to be yeah, I know you want to be like really good, and it's great that you want to be really good, and and you are, to be totally honest. But give yourself a little bit of grace too.
Yeah, I feel like I have been trying to compete so much with the others.
Yeah.
The artists that are around me, like one is like 4 years experience and one is like 7 years. So it's kind of like a tough.
Yeah, but your clients come to you for you, right? That's something that I've learned. So for instance, like I've been told, like many people this, you might already know, but I'm moving to Australia in October.
Oh.
Yeah. So I have all these clients, right? And I didn't realize how many of them came to me because of me, like not for anything else. Like I was like, I set up this whole thing where I would send all my clients to this other person who's like a couple minutes away from me, but some people drive from the other side of the city, so they drive like 35-40 minutes to come and see me. And so I was like, oh, I'll give you, you know, so and so's name, and she's right in the area, so it'll be super easy. And they're like, oh, okay, well, honestly, like if you're leaving, like I probably just won't get lashes anymore. Like I come here like for you, right? Like I just come here because I like hanging out with you. And if you're not going to be doing my lashes, I either don't really want them, or I'm just going to find someone down the street. Like I drive so far because I like seeing you and I like hanging out with you. And I was like, oh, so people don't doubt, like it's not just about, you know, the experience that someone has. I'm sure that a lot of the people come to you for you and for, you know, the experience and the feeling that they get from you, and not necessarily the amount of time that you've been doing lashes.
Yeah. So, I feel like I had a client that came to me when I was new, and then she was like talking to me about artists like, yeah, in my area that has closed down, and she said, oh, I used to go to her, but she increased her prices and it was so expensive, so I stopped going. So after I increased my prices, she also stopped going to me.
But
So,
yeah,
but I can't do anything about it.
it's not the same for everyone, right? Some people price shop, and especially when someone comes into you
Yeah.
at a low price, right? When someone comes into you starting at a low price, usually they're coming in with the expectation that you're going to be cheap. And that's why I try and, like, when I start with brand new lash artists, I try and teach them, or encourage them rather, to not start so low, because the lower that you start, the harder it is to increase your prices, right? But when someone comes in to you at like a higher price point, they're coming to you because they like you and because they like your work, and not they're not price shopping. But there are people that will price shop. I had a girl tell me that my prices were too high and her regular girl charged $40. So like, I'd go get your $40 lashes then. It's
Yeah,
silly.
it is. I try not to listen to those things anymore. If you can't book, just don't. No one's
Yeah.
forcing you.
And you're always going to be too expensive for somebody.
Yeah, I'm quite a bit cheaper option. Not very cheap, but like comparing to those artists that are in my area that are well, you know, more experienced.
Yeah.
I'm the cheaper option. Yeah, they get good service for it. So.
And you're doing all the right things now as well. Like you're getting, you know, your testimonials and your reviews to back you up. You're actually working on your retention to become a really good lash artist. You don't know what kind of service those other girls provide, right? Like you have no idea anything about them. So how can you compare your prices and what you do to what they do? You just can't.
Oh, I try my best not to. It gets a bit demotivating sometimes.
Don't do it. Don't look. Don't even bother. It doesn't matter what they're doing.
I find myself looking at their booking sites. That's my toxic trait.
Don't do it. That's your next goal for the next 2 weeks. No looking at their booking sites. Okay. It doesn't matter. That's a challenge.
It shouldn't.
It doesn't, right? Like what someone else is doing has nothing to do with you. And the more that you make it about that, you know, you're putting yourself in this mindset of like, I'm not good enough, and you're coming from a place of lack rather than coming from a place of like, you know, growth. And this is like how well I'm doing. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. And you have to like actually break yourself of the habit now, because you're in the habit. I think that's what it seems like.
Yeah. My boyfriend tells me the same. I should stop looking at it, but
yeah, you're in the habit. So when you think about doing it over the next 2 weeks up until we talk next, just imagine me slapping you on the hand, going like, no, no.
Yeah, because it's because of the people that come to me that are from those salons, you know. So they were like, oh, I'm so surprised you're doing so well. How long have you been doing lashes? And I say 6 months. It's like, oh, you got so many customers. It sounds very doubting. Like they're like, oh, that's weird. You have so many customers and you're only new.
Who cares?
So
that's great. You should be like, yeah, I am new and I do have a lot of customers. Thank you.
Yeah, I
Leslie,
should
by the
really
way,
go
if
see.
you have any questions, you're welcome to pop yourself off mute and ask them whenever or in the chat, whatever feels best to you. No,
Thank
if you're busy.
you. Can you
No
hear
worries.
me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay,
Hello.
great. So I was like trying to think of a question really just because I just started the program. I have my camera off because I'm driving.
That's okay.
Just want to let you know. But so I've been working on my power offer.
Mhm.
I am taking the training, Joel's training, which thank you for recommending. So great.
Yeah.
At first it was like kind of boring, like it's kind of hard to get into.
Yeah.
But I feel like once I started creating like my own power offer, I was like, okay, I think he was on to something, like I'm feeling all these ideas coming through.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's been cool. Do you mind if I just read those to you real quick, or do you want me to post them in the group later?
Do you want to post them in the group just so that I can like sit and look at it and kind of dissect it? Does that sound okay?
Yes, of course. Yeah. So
Okay.
I'll just do that then. And like I have like 3 or 4 of them actually. So
Yeah, no, that's good. And like like Joel talks about it, I think as well. Like you don't need to just have one power offer, right? Like in terms of like even coaching and stuff, your power offer is just like selling people on like one piece of what it is that you offer. So I don't just have people come into the program looking to get new clients. I have people come into the program that are trying to build confidence in their lash artistry or who are trying to improve their attention. So you can create a power offer that kind of fits all of the different personas that that you are trying to like attract into your business. So it's great that you have a few. And yeah, just so that you don't have to utilize like just one. You can kind of like utilize and test multiple of them. Does that make sense?
yes.
Cool.
I was like going over your power offer too, and it's pretty good. Like it's funny when you ask yourself, like, who am I for? You're like, wait, who am I for?
Yeah.
Right?
You're like, I thought I knew what this meant, and I don't actually know like who I serve.
Right, exactly. But creating my avatar and what you did there with the AI, that was honestly like the furthest I've gotten with my I guess unique point of sale or like my most favorite client. So that feels good getting clarity on that.
Awesome.
However, I did have some questions about it.
Okay.
So when I'm talking to the avatar that we created, you said she lives like in an urban city. So how would I what would be some good tips as to how to speak to that person? Like I understand my avatar, but I'm like, okay, how am I supposed to speak to her directly now?
Okay. I'm just looking
what I have.
I'm just pulling up your thing here. So like when you're creating content, you'll get to the point as well so after you finish all these first assignments that I have set up for you, what I would probably recommend that you do, because you don't need to go through any of the Russian volume training like we talked about because you were already trained by Lena. What I would do is go into the organic content creation area or the ads, whatever you want to do. And I would start on one of the content creation strategy documents. And it will become really clear how you're able to pull your ideal client profile into your content and into actually like calling out your person and speaking to them, because you're going to pull out those fears, pains, and goals that your ideal client does have, and you're going to turn them into 5 different pieces of content each that talk to a different buyer persona. So I can obviously like tell you about these things over Zoom as well, but when you go into, so when you get into the program, I'm just pulling it up here, you'll go to memberships. You probably can't look at your phone right now, can you? You're
Well,
driving.
honestly, I am looking at my phone, to be honest with you. But
Okay. I'm
yeah.
like, I don't want to be the reason that you get into a car
No.
accident.
I mean, I gotta do what I gotta do, so.
Okay, be careful. I'll just
Okay.
share my screen really quickly. I
Okay,
think
great.
you should be able to see it here. So
Yes.
you'll go in once you're finished like all the assignments. I would suggest you going into this like attract section here. And you can go to the IG Blueprint Content Kickstart.
Okay.
And then there's a bunch of different videos here on like the different types of content. So your content categories, the different like formula that I use to create content, how to apply the formula. And then I give you different planners to use to actually like plug and play your ideal client into the types of content that you can create that actually speak to them. So this one is my favorite one. And there. So this would end up being kind of what it looks like. So you're going to pull from your ideal client profile that we created or you created and you know the additions that I sent you, and you're going to pull out their fears, their pains, and their goals from that. And then you're going to create, there's 5 different content categories. So you have educational, social proof, connection and trust, anecdotal, and promotional. And you're going to create 5 different pieces of content for one fear that your client has. So you're going to speak to them very clearly through these different fears, pains, and goals that you've created by just coming up with different content. So in here, like all of the 2 different content planners are in here. So I have version 1 here and version 2, just depending on which kind of style you like better. And then there's videos on actually how to use them and how to use your ideal client profile and apply it to the content planner so that you have a better understanding of what you can do and say to speak to them. Does that help?
Yeah, that's definitely helpful. I think
Cool.
I think I just definitely need to finish like my power offer and then get there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to follow it exactly how you're telling me to follow it so that I don't just go through all the content randomly.
Yeah.
Or go through it one night, 3 nights.
Yeah. I appreciate that. That's good. Yeah, you're taking your time, which is the point. Like, you know, you probably wouldn't have gotten as much out of your ideal client profile if you didn't really sit with it the way that you did and get the feedback that you asked for. And you probably have a lot more clarity on it because of the fact that you're going through it the way that you are. So
yes, exactly. Like definitely spent a lot of time doing that. So, but it was worth it, like you said. So
yeah, and your power offers can be like edited a lot, you know, like you can use them and you can test some of them. And then maybe in 6 months from now, you're like, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to like, you know, I'm going to try and apply this again and see how it's changed if your business has changed at that point. So yeah, once you're done the power offer stuff, I'd suggest that you don't need the Lash foundations unless you feel like there's anything that you want to recap on of what Lena taught you. So after you do your power offer, I would say like you could just head to the attract section and go into, the IG Blueprint Content Kickstart.
okay, perfect. Well, I'm excited to get that started then.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. It'll be cool to see like what kind of pieces of content that you come up with. And again, like you're more than welcome to like write out a few samples of it and then post it in the group again, you know, get feedback on it and I can add in a couple thoughts too.
Need that validation, like, am I doing this right?
Yeah, of course. It's funny when because you said that you wanted to like be on all the calls. I was literally just gonna message you and be like, where are you?
Oh, it's because I'm an hour
ahead.
Yes, so I was like, oh no. Yeah,
so
but
funny.
I made it.
I'm glad to see you here.
Yes. Well, okay, so I think that's it, just because I'm just getting started. I think I have a really clear idea of where I'm headed, what I need to do, and all of that. So thank you so much, Caitlin.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I hope you have a good day, and let me know when you want to book in your you know, your bi-weekly other calls that we got together.
Okay, yeah, perfect. And then,
Cool.
do you mind if I just stay on and listen until
Oh
I
yeah,
have
of
to
course
get
you
off?
can. Yeah, no
Oh,
worries.
okay, cool.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see, ask to unmute. I think oh, we're good. Wait, what's happening? I'm like muting and unmuting people accidentally. Andrea, I think yeah, there we go. Was I like battling you for your microphone there?
Just a little bit.
Do you have any other questions, thoughts, things for today? We've got, you know, about 15 minutes-ish left. Or Alanza, anything that you want to bring up?
I think I'm
Yeah,
still
go ahead.
continuing through the assignments.
Yeah, that's okay.
2
Yeah.
weeks, and then I'll see.
Yes, and again, if you finish them in between the time that that we see each other next on our 2 weeks from now call, post them in the group. Don't hide. Don't hide from me.
Trying. I will.
You're doing really
I'll be
good, and I
better
think
at
like you keep taking the right steps, right? So I think the more touch points that we get, like you and I have only been talking every 2 weeks, right? I think the more touch points that you get, the more validation that you'll get for your business and the things that you're doing. So I'm very proud of you, just so you know.
Thank you.
Okay, well, if no one else has anything, we'll jump off, and then I will send out the invite for the next one coming in 2 weeks. Wait, hold up, I want to take a picture. You're doing the same thing, so it's perfect. Perfect.
Wait, what are you taking a picture of?
I'm taking a picture of you guys on the screen.
Oh, okay, let me put my camera on then, so you have
Yeah.
a face.
Deal.
Okay, there
Okay.
we go.
Yay.
Yay!
Okay. Cool. Thanks everyone for being here. And yeah, always in the group chat. Let me know if you have any questions at all.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.